Long before humans looked to the stars, Pandora already breathed with life.
Around 16,000 BCE was the earliest recorded memory of the Napfi. It is here that the first songs were sung. Through these songs, the Napfi passed down knowledge of their world, the rhythms of the forests, the ways of creatures, and the sacred presence of Ewa, the consciousness that connects all living things. Sacred sites like the Hometree and the Tree of Souls began to anchor Napfi culture. For thousands of years, the Napfi thrived. They spread across Pandora, forming clans in the forest, mountains, and oceans. Every footstep, every song, every ritual was a careful dance with Ewa's network. The valley hummed, the forest glowed, and the oceans carried the voices of the past, all preserved in the memory of the moon. Far away, however, on a world called Earth, history took a very different turn. Around 2080 to 2100 AD, humans finally mastered interstellar observation and propulsion. They discovered Polyphemus and its moon Pandora, a place that seemed alive and rich beyond imagination. Earth, however, was not a world at peace. Cities crowded the land, energy ran short, forests dwindled, and humanity faced an ecological and resource crisis. Systems that once supported life began to strain under the weight of endless consumption. Humanity survived, but survival came at a cost. Corporations rose to power where governments faltered, and among them was one called the Resources Development Administration, the RDA. When human science finally learned how to cross the stars, it was not wonder that led the first ships outward. It was need. Between 2050 and 2077, humans discovered Pandora, a moon orbiting Polyphemus, a gas giant. However, it was discovered not as a paradise, but as a solution, a place rich in materials Earth desperately wanted. Beneath its soil lay substances of extraordinary value, capable of solving energy crises back home. To the RDA, Pandora was not alive. It was an asset. The atmosphere was toxic to humans, so they built sealed bases of metal and glass. They brought machines, weapons, and the language of ownership. But Pandora resisted them in ways no projections had predicted. The forest fought back. The animals were fierce, and the Napfi, tall, blue, intelligent humanoids, could not be pushed aside as easily as spreadsheets suggested. So, humanity tried a different approach. They grew avatars, bodies shaped like the Napfi created from human and Napfi DNA. Human minds would sleep in machines while their consciousness walked among the people of Pandora, learning their ways, earning their trust, and gathering knowledge. 2154 AD, the year that changed everything. Jake Sully, a human soldier, entered Pandora as an avatar pilot to replace his deceased twin brother Tommy. It was then that the RDA began large-scale mining near the home tree of the Omaticaya, a native Napfi forest clan, disregarding the sacred lives of its people. Conflict erupted. Machines tore through forest, fire rained from the sky, but Pandora resisted. And even though the home tree fell and a disaster of fire erupted, Pandora endured. Humans were driven back across the stars, their conquest broken, and their arrogance humbled. But we all know too well that human hunger cannot be satiated forever. When Jake Sully and his family sought refuge with the Metcaina, one of the reef clans, Napfi that adapted to the tides and the waves, teaching that life flows as much in water as in forest or mountain, humans again tested Pandora's patience. But the world responded, and Ewa's network once again carried warnings. This started what is known as the Second Pandoraan War, a large-scale confrontation between the resistance versus the RDA and the Manquan, with both groups trying to maintain control over Pandora. During this long war in 2170 AD, after a Tulkun and her calf were killed, another major conflict between the Na'vi and the RDA broke out on the ocean at the Three Brothers in the Eastern Sea, eventually resulting in the death of Jake Sully's eldest son, Nateum. Right after the Second Pandoraan War, in 2168 AD, the human presence on Pandora shifted. Instead of conquest, they came as observers. The Alpha Centauri Expeditions, ACE, remained, studying the forest, wildlife, and sacred sites. The Na'vi allowed this, cautiously, with strict boundaries. Machines decayed in the undergrowth, old RDA outposts became part of the living forest. Pandora itself reminded humans that they were guests, not masters. So humans exist only measured in observation, under ACE supervision. Sacred sites like the Valley of Mo'ara pulse with energy. The first songs echo through the trees, rivers, and oceans carried forward by the Na'vi. Pandora is alive, older and wiser than any human mind can measure. And Earth? It remains distant, a reminder of what happens when a civilization takes without listening. Pandora teaches patience, balance, and respect. Those who enter its forests, oceans, and sacred valleys learn that life is not owned, it is shared. And those lessons are as old as the first songs, sung over 20,000 years ago, still carrying their truth today.